Alright, so we're going to go ahead and uh, run this lab, which is mostly for a web or web security scanner. In order for us to do this lab, I have to download a sample web application. There's really nothing in this application. Actually, it's just a hello world sample file or code. So I'm going to pull it down and I'll run you guys through the content of this application here. Go to Python here and list what's inside the Python, and from here I'm going to go to App Engine. So go to over here and go to App Engine, and you can see what's in the standard. So go to standard here, and then from the standard you're going to see the hello world folder. And now go to get inside, and when you look inside there you have just some main code. You can actually view some of these content here to verify some of what's inside this code. You see it's just a runtime. That will ensure that everything runs smoothly, and you could do the same thing over here for the other main Python file over here, and you could see what we have here is going to import web app 2, and you could see essentially what we have here, and that's what is going to print on the screen. You can actually edit this. You can say hello Minnesota. Now this might not be able to save because I'm not saving this as an administrator, but eventually actually works. So I can say hello Minnesota here and exit out of this one. And now from here I can essentially use the dev to test the application, okay, within the local development server. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly test it here, and that's what I'm going to possibly do. I've already shown you what is inside these these are a particular YAML file, and when I do that you would see what's going to run out here, and just like that it's going to start an instance here. Remember, the goal of this is we log on to the folder hello world directory where we have our applications configuration file, and then we start the local development server with this command. The local development server is now running and it's listening, and you can see it's listening on port 8080. So that's where it's running. Over here I can go ahead and view this server, and if I want to do that I just come over here and run it on this side. You can see hello Minnesota. That is the file that we just ran earlier on. So if I'm satisfied with what I have over here, I can actually go back here and go ahead and deploy this application. So I'm going to stop this now. I'm going to clear this up, and I will go ahead and deploy this application. It's going to ask me to select the region here, and we're going to just wait for it and let it go to work. So the application is now fully developed. We can now go ahead and view the application. You can see over there it tells you gcloud app browse, and that's exactly what we're going to type here. And we'll type this, and it tells us where the application is going to be, the apps port.com, and from there I can actually go ahead and view it. If I click this, ideally it's supposed to open up here and tell me, hey, hello Minnesota, and there you go for this particular application. Now that we have an application that we want to play around with, How about we now go over here and try to scan it? So I'm going to go to my Google console again, and I'm going to then go to App Engine, and my App Engine is right over here, and I'm going to select Security Scan. Now I have opened Security Scan here before already, and you can see Web Security Scanner. That's really what it is. And so that's why I wasn't prompted at all. I already activated the API. If you have not done this before, then you would be asked to enable your Web Security Scanner API. So if you have a dialog box that's asking you to enable your Web Security API, that's actually what it's asking you. So go ahead and enable it. And once you do that, I'm going to go ahead and create a new scan. And you can call this one, let's just call this one demo scan. And then I'm going to grab my URL here. That's my URL. Put my URL here. And I have my URL here. Then I'm going to, I don't have any authentication here. If you have authentication, you might have to provide the authentication. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. So I've created this, a scan job. And once I've created the scan job here, you can click it. And now at this point, I can decide to run the web, the scan job. And I'm going to go ahead and run it. And you can see it's waiting in the queue. And shortly, it's going to start to, scan and crawl various URL within the application. One thing that you need to know, this is a rather very simple application. So as you guys can see, it's a very simple one-liner. In real life, it might take much longer, and you're going to have several URL for this application to scan. As you can see, it's about 25% done now, and it said the found no vulnerability so far. Is going to continue until it's done. And you can see over here it's 42% finished, and it said scan discover an unexpectedly low number of URL. Again, this is expected, but in some cases that could be a problem. But again, you could see some of the stuff that is already displaying for us. As you can see now, the scan is completely done. It tells you what URL it access, only one URL, and you could see the maximum scan speed 15, and see it doesn't take much because this link only has one. This URL only has one link. Again, this is a test one. In real life, it's going to be much more complex than this. Thank you for watching.